Today I'm doing a loop hike in Jennings State Forest, and I'm glad to be back out here. I lifted yesterday, so my legs are a little sore, so this walk's going to do me a lot of good. But I'm doing the Dunn Trail, which is pink. I'm taking that to the Crosscut Trail, and then to the Pioneer Trail, back to the Dunn Trail for my loop. I think it's going to be around 6 miles, but I'm not sure. I've started my All Trails app and my Garmin watch to kind of compare the two, but it should be a beautiful hike. I'm going to try to walk a little faster than my normal pace, just because I have a lot of things that I should be doing instead of hiking, but how could you pass up on a day like this? Right off the bat, I think we've gone 0.07. The Crosscut Trail heads this way to Powell Ford. We're on the lime green blazes, and I believe this is where this Crosscut name for the trail came from. What do you think? So I think the first part of this hike is going to be pretty exposed, but once we get to the Pioneer Trail, we will be pretty shaded. There's one of those blazes. This right here is a interpretive trail to the right, and that just makes a little loop back to Dunn's farm. So it's a really, really short little hike. We'll be hitting 2 backcountry campsites on these sections that we're going to be in today. The first one is going to be on the Crosscut Trail, and the second one will be on the Pioneer Trail. So I'll make sure that I show you both of those. And I'm sporting my new Dirty Girl gaiters today, getting them out on the trail for the first time. I cannot believe how much the palmettos have grown around here. It just seems so much more full than it used to be when this trail first opened. We are entering the hammock area, and it looks like somebody lost their glasses and they don't have any eyeglass in there. Starting to get a little bit more shaded. I think we'll be coming up to the campsite pretty soon, but the campsites here are first come, first serve, and you don't need any reservations. You do not need a permit. I'm just going to come out here and enjoy. And I think this weather right now is pretty awesome. Here's the campsite right here. We're going to come around it. I'm going to show you from a different angle. I didn't realize we were here quite so fast, but we are. This is it right here. So somebody's left a lot of firewood here. You can gather wood that's on the ground. You just can't cut any live wood down. But they've got the fire pit right here. They've got a bench right there. And they've got a couple really nice flat spots that you can use for tenting. So I'll come back out this way. Let's see what the sign says here. Yep, Crosscut Camp Zone. There you have it. That's the first of 2. Every once in a while I'll have something like that posted. They even have a sign that tells us how many miles to get to Katahdin. This section is new right here. They just put this bench in not too long ago because it wasn't here the last time I came this way. But I may have to check that out at a sunrise if I can get myself up early enough to get out here. Here to the left, they have a nature viewing area. It's got a bench in it. I'm not going to go over there because someone's over there, but a bench where you can sit and enjoy the scenery. The bugs aren't bad yet, and I haven't ran into any spider webs. Usually I get those when I go earlier in the day. They call this Dome Swamp, and I don't know if you can see the brown grass over there. We are now starting to get into a little bit thicker woods, and I don't think it's going to be too much longer where we hop off the Crosscut trail and onto the Pioneer Trail. I've had a little bit of a breeze, which has been nice, and I think the temperatures are in the low to mid 70s, so let's see what this sign says. Santa Rosa Island, 612 miles away. The Pioneer Trail, we have 1.4 to go to get there, and we've gone 1.3 so far. That is a new sign. I haven't seen that one before. Here's another message, and it says, between every two pines, there is a doorway to a new world. So we're heading through that doorway. I've been going, just hit the 2-mile mark, and haven't quite hit the Pioneer Trail yet. Okay. Once we hit the Pioneer Trail, we will start getting some elevation change, but the Crosscut Trail is pretty flat. In fact, I have had no elevation change at all, so we have to wait to get to Pioneer in order to do that. And then there's a couple places, I think there's only 2, there might be 3, where you can either choose to go the high trail or the low trail. And I like going down on the low trail because it gives me some descent and some ascent. And so I get a little bit more of a leg workout. And so we'll be doing those. And I want to show you the other campsite and just enjoy this day. I'm hoping it doesn't take me too long because I have a pretty busy day ahead of me, but I just couldn't turn away another day of not getting out on the trail with the weather being so beautiful. So here we are, out on the trail. Occasionally we will see gopher turtles, but I usually always see their holes where they live. So if I happen to run across one, I will definitely share that with you. We are coming to the junction of the Pioneer Trail. So the neighbor's campsite, camp zone, they call it, is 0.4. That is on the Pioneer Trail, and that's where we are going to be stopping for a quick little break. And I want to show you guys that camp zone. The blue blaze is a Pioneer Trail, and it continues down that way for 1.7 miles. And then there's a creek you have to ford to get to the end of that. So there's a parking lot out there. And is that a little inchworm? Look at that little guy. They were all over the place when I was on the Appalachian Trail. But we're going to be heading this way. Right now I've gone 2.64 miles. And we are on a shared trail right here with the blue and the green. But it quickly switches to just the Pioneer Trail. So a little over 2.5 miles to get to this junction. And then just a really short trip to the camp zone, which is the biggest camping area in the backcountry here that I think exists. So we are going to be going to Phillips Branch and then back onto the Dunn's Farm Trail. So we'll start seeing a little bit of change in the elevation, and you've already noticed that we have a lot more tree coverage on this part of the trail. We are on the Pioneer Trail, but you'll see down there, that is the creek, and it is a tannin color because of the cypress, I believe. But that is where you would get your water if you needed it. But obviously you filter all of your water, but we call that the Middleburg Tea because that's exactly what it looks like. But there are some tributaries that have very clear, clean water. Still need to filter it, but it doesn't have that tannin color. And for some people, that's a deal breaker. But we'll be following that creek all the way back to the Dunn's farm trailhead. And here's the creek access, and it says treat all water, just like I said. So we're coming up to the camp zone, and I'll take you back there and let you take a look at that. The neighbor's camp zone. A nice little walk back here, and then it opens up. Have a fire pit and a picnic table, a couple log benches. I'll tell you when we get there. There's one of those log benches. It looks like it's deteriorated a little bit, but picnic table's right there. There's another log bench right over there. And then the fire pit area. It's got some logs for people to, stumps for people to sit on or cook on, but it's a pretty big area. Lots of tents could fit here. Really quick before we head back out, I'm going to show you what I brought with me today. I brought my water. It's got my electrolytes in it, my pea straw, and my cooler cloth. My phone usually goes in that. And this is what I usually bring when I come out here to Jennings Forest because I'm only out here on a short day hike. My water bottle there, my phone there. I have my water filter here. I just threw a bunch of my stuff in here. I've got a mace thing, and then I have my Garmin, which I don't usually bring, but I'm paying for it, so I might as well bring it on every hike I have. And it's just smart. I have my first aid kit. I just pulled these out of my backpack and my headlamp. And then in this pocket here, I have my keys. And that's what I bring when I go on a day hike. So whatever that's worth. And I have one trekking pole that I take with me. And now it's back to the trail. I normally will bring a snack, but I wanted to make this a quick trip. It's more of a fitness walk than it is just a leisurely hike because I wanted to get out and get some exercise. And I have, like I said, a lot of things to get done today. So I didn't want to take the time to snack and go slow. But I do that sometimes out here too. Just not today. But hopefully you like that campsite. It's one of the nicest ones, I think, out here on this trail. And, oh, that breeze feels good. Whew. My neck's a little sweaty. Okay, we're back on the Blue Blazes. I'm trying to do a better job of drinking more water. We're getting ready to go down a little bit. I'm going to show you. So this is a little bit of a descent. I think that almost 100% of the elevation change is going to be on the Pioneer Trail. But when I finish the hike, I will put the elevation information at the end of the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're coming up to a view of the creek, and I just think it's so pretty. You do have to watch out for ticks out here. I didn't spray before I came out here. It's kind of an afterthought, but I will definitely check for ticks when I get off. So here is the view. So pretty. And oh, they even put a little hook up here. Somebody wants to put their backpacks out there. All right, here's an overlook. And we continue. We'll be hitting a split pretty soon, I think. And so I'll show you what that looks like when we get there. I have a couple of these that we go over. This is called Sanderson's Branch. And shortly after the first one, we have another one. Let's see what this one is called. Hill branch. And then we got a nice little hill to climb up. How appropriate. Here's one of those splits in the trail, and we're at 3.43. We're gonna go down towards the creek and then we'll have a climb up. Although there's a nice little climb up here too. So, but we're gonna go down. This is called Mosley's Upper Loop and Nolan's Lower Loop. When it storms and things start flooding, this trail is not an option, I do not believe. I think this gets pretty flooded. This used to be a big turpentine area back in the day. And if you go to the ranger station, they have some of the artifacts that, oh, that right there, I believe, is a gopher turtle hole. But back to what I was saying, if you go to the ranger station, you can see some of the artifacts and a little bit of the history. And if you go to the cemetery off of the other side of Pioneer, and there's a camp zone right by it, they've got a little bit of history with some of the information there as well. You can see a couple more steps here that we are very close to the creek. There's part of the creek right there. So this definitely would be underwater with some heavy rains. Here comes the ascent. It's a nice grade here. Doesn't seem like it's steep, but it is. We've done some work out here, and here's where the trail meets up with Mosley. And then we head down. We're coming up to our second split, and I'm at 4.22 miles, and Turpentine Stump high water bypass is to the right. We are going to head down so we can climb back up, and I'll show you that stump. Gotta watch your footing here. Oh, they got little steps here, I forgot. But the leaves could make it a little slippery. And then you go right back up there. But the old growth turpentine stump is this way, right by the creek. Here's the water again. And that is the turpentine stump. Now it's time to make the climb back up. The last climb, my heart rate got up to 140. It's pretty good. Let's see what it does this time. It's at 108 right now. So it's not quite as long of a climb, and probably about just as steep. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. We're at 122. And that's where the other trail meets back up with us. We have a blowdown right here, and it is at 5.1 miles on my hike. It's on the Pioneer Trail, so it's I would say under a mile before we get to Phillips Branch. So we're just gonna go under that little section right there and keep on hiking. We are coming to the junction of the Dunn's Farm Trailhead. As we go over this bridge, we will hit that junction that has 4 different ways to go. So if I continued straight, I'd hit the Dunn's Farm. If I took this section here to the left, it would take me on the shared trail with the pink and the blue. Something's clacking on the tree. Oh, it's a woodpecker. Let me see if I can get you guys up there. He's busy. I don't know if you can see him or not. Huh, very cool. I'm gonna go that way right there. It's 0.9. We have 0.9 to get back to the trailhead. And then we are done. And we right now are at mile 5.53. So I use topos. I use the Ultra Adventures for my hiking. And I'm wearing the same shoes that I wore from Shaw's Hostel into the 100-mile wilderness, and then summiting Katahdin, and then all the little hikes I've done since then, and the Smoky Mountains from last week. And the heel is starting to bother me. I might even have a little bit of a blister there, so I need to check those out. Hopefully they still have some life in them. Here's a view of this section of the Dunn's Farm, which is the pink blaze. So we went a short bit on the pink. We did the mint green, which was a crosscut. Then we went to the Pioneer, which was blue. And now we're back on the pink all the way back to the start. So that is another one of the loops that we can do from the parking lot at the Dunn's Farm Trailhead. I think this might be the 3rd one that I've shared with you guys. And there's a couple more left. Here we have the junction for the Sawyer Trail, which is the newest trail out here. It's a yellow blaze. And we've already done one loop with that, but I want to join in the Crosscut to the Pioneer to the Sawyer. I think that's going to be my next hike. And then back out here. And that'll be a longer hike than this one. And right now this one is at 5.88. So it'll be a little over 6 miles, I think. Here's where we split. At the beginning, we went that way. And we're coming back from here. And we are just about to the end of the trail. We're at 6.34. So that was a good midday hike. Right now it's taking me 2 hours and 12 minutes. And still have a couple more minutes to go. There's a little counter. Pack it in, pack it out. Heading through these arches signifies the end of our hike for today. And really enjoyed being back in the woods. Definitely is my happy place. But there are 2 picnic tables here and a grill. And then my car is sitting right there. So I'm going to stop my watch and my all trails and get that information recorded. Okay, that hike is over. You can tell I'm a little flushed. It's warm out here in Florida. I was 6.41 miles and it took me 2 hours and 14 minutes. And I'm looking at my watch right now. Let's see what it says about elevation. Okay, 439 feet of elevation change. So that was all on the Pioneer Trail. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video. I'll do another loop trail when I get a chance and add in the Sawyer Trail, and that'll give us a little bit more distance. But hope you enjoyed the video. You can like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out, and until the next video, bye.